The Celtics were surprisingly, I think, more physical than I've seen them all season long. They really out physicaled and like really bodied the Dallas Mavericks really all game long. Kristaps Porzingis, I did not expect him to come out and look like that. He looked like Dirk Nowitzki way back in 2006. I mean, the man could not miss. I did not imagine him coming back from an injury that serious. The calf injury was, according to reports, it was very similar to what KD went through in his last year with the Warriors, where they said it was a lower calf injury. You know, he tweaked it and then he came back and it ended up being a torn Achilles. So my initial reaction was like I was worried for Porzingis because it's another tall dude dealing with like a lower extremity injury that's severe. One, coming back was hard enough, but for him to come out and then put up literally 20 points in 21 minutes of play, the amount of efficiency that he played with, the tenacity that he played with on both ends of the floor, he was a monster on the defensive end. Had great blocks, and on offense he looked like himself. He was aggressive. He attacked the basket and was knocking down threes. Um, the Celtics are extremely hard to beat when you've got Porzingis playing the way that he is. Look, Jason Tatum only had 16 points. He did not play well at all, really, this game. He had six turnovers. Jaylen Brown, who's been the most consistent Celtic all through this playoffs, in my opinion, hence why I believe that's why he got the East Finals MVP, showed up with another 20 points. But again, from the beginning, they set the tone. Jaylen Brown set the tone on defense, was in Luka Doncic, in Kyrie Irving. He ripped Luka for a couple times for a steal and got a dunk. Blocked Kyrie a couple times when he went to the rim on him. I mean, Jaylen Brown just from the beginning was just like setting the tone. He was the reason why I think Boston really came out and played just so physical and with such tenacity and with such conviction that you look at them and it's like, okay, that's the Boston team that's been the best all season long. That's the Boston team that should be favored to win a championship. As I said in my finals preview, that there's no reason that Boston should not win this title. But especially with Porzingis looks like that, they're going to be very tough to deal with. Now, game one is always an overreaction to a lot of people. I try not to overreact, but let's break this down from the Dallas standpoint. Luka had 30 and 10 rebounds, but what Boston did was you're not going to stop a guy like Luka from scoring. It's just not going to happen. But what Boston did was disarm him. And what do I mean by disarm? Disarm mean like what's Luka Doncic's game? He wants to not only be a scorer and get boards as a big guard, but he also wants to be a playmaker. He wants to get those assists as well. Well, last night he only had one assist. That's a career low for him in a playoff game. That is a way of disarming him. They kind of made Luka really just a scorer, and that's it. Now, is that really the answer to dealing with Luka Doncic? Not really, but you just saw like in this game how it was affecting them. Like this, Boston was up by 29 points at one point, almost 30. You know, it should have been more, but Luka started bringing them back and everything, and then like before you know it, it's a 7 point game. I'm thinking, okay, here we go, here comes Dallas. But Derek Lively was a no show, had 5 fouls, 0 points. Daniel Gafford was basically a no show. The X factors that I was talking about going into the finals did not show up for Dallas. PJ Washington had a relatively pedestrian night. You expected a lot more from him. Derek Jones Jr., 2 of 9 from the field. And like I said, Lively and Gafford, virtual no-shows. Porzingis did whatever he wanted. And the thing that concerned me defensively with Dallas was how they were switching on to Porzingis. They were putting a lot of smaller guys on him. You had J.J. Hardy, you had Josh Green, at times Derek Jones Jr. guarding him as well. You know, Porzingis is 7'2". These guys are 6'6" and below. Porzingis is going to just rise up and shoot over you every single time. Now, Porzingis used to piss me off about that because you be in the post and you're settling for a jumper as opposed to backing him down and punishing him with the smaller guy on you. Well, last night he was making his shots. He was making all those face-up jump shots. So if he's doing that, that definitely makes it just so much harder to deal with Boston. But I expect Jason Kidd to definitely make adjustments on the defensive side of the ball. I think you're going to see less switching. Well, I would hope you would see less switching and not have those smaller guys on Porzingis as much. And the biggest thing for me with Dallas is Kyrie Irving went 6 of 19 from the floor last night. We don't expect that at all from Kyrie Irving. In fact, I am banking on it not happening in game 2. I expect a much better game from him. And that was a massive reason why I think Dallas was down 30 at one point and then ended up ultimately losing the game. Although Luka brought him back, imagine if Kyrie Irving was not struggling like he was. This might have been a different game altogether. So I expect Kyrie Irving to definitely come back in game 2 and play a whole lot better. I think it's an aberration. Kyrie Irving is just way too good. I've seen him. We saw in game 1 him shoot one off the side of the backboard. We saw him miss layups that he normally makes. You know, I think Kyrie Irving's definitely going to get that together. But Luka's got to get back to doing his scoring and playmaking. And the lobs, that's the other thing. The Celtics did a really good job of defending the lob pass. because that's what gets Lively and Gafford going on both ends of the floor is when they catch those lobs from Luka. As I said, he only had 1 assist. So a couple things that Boston was doing really great defensively. And again, Jaylen Brown absolutely set the tone from the beginning. And the scary thing is Boston looked that good, winning by as large of a margin as they did, and Jason Tatum only had 16 points. So you wonder, okay, which Celtics team am I going to get in game 2? Which Mavericks team am I going to get in game 2? It's a lot of questions on both ends. If you get the aggressive Jason Tatum that's making shots, and it's the Jason Tatum that we've come to know, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that Boston's going to win game 2 for sure. But at the same time, what if Kyrie Irving shows up and plays a lot better than he plays up to his standards and how capable he is of, you know? So I went into this thinking that Dallas would win one of these 2 games in Boston and split, because I expect this series to go 6 or 7 games. I originally picked Dallas to win this series in 7 games. I'm going to stick to that. That is my gut pick without any logic going on right now, so I'm going to stick to that. But Dallas needs to definitely tune it up defensively. They have a lot of adjustments they have to make there. You can't allow Porzingis to go off, because you already got to deal with Tatum and Brown. But to have Porzingis go off like he did in the first quarter, it's going to be really, really hard to beat them if that happens.